This is a tribute to the individuals that served in the United States Armed Forces 70 years ago after the December 6th bombing of Pearl Harbor. The intention of this screencast is to show how electronic learning via video games has enhanced our military training strategies, as well as the relationship it has in regards to Hollywood and the movies that they make. In the beginning of World War II, the United States had several major issues to contend with. America was at war and its civilians were against it. To combat this issue, President Franklin D. Roosevelt commissioned Hollywood to make propaganda movies that were anti-Japanese. Videos as such included narration that depicted the Japanese as a people who were small in stature, uncivilized, and ate large quantities of rice, thus giving the American people a sense of superiority. The moving picture was the United States' favorite pastime, and therefore the government used its power to win over the American people by making them see what the government wanted to convey. Another issue that President FDR had faced was the shortage of weapons and bullets. The soldiers were using live rounds to practice drills and training exercises. To aid in the shortage, the United States turned to Hollywood, this time to produce training films and pre-digital electronic flight simulators for use in both military and civilian training. Training films were black and white reels that would instruct a soldier on how to use a particular weapon. This training film is a 1940 video of instruction on how to use and reload an M16 firearm. The prototype for the first home video game console was the 1972 Magnavox Odyssey. It was developed by Sanders Associates, a U.S. defense contractor. It was a combination of analog and digital technology that was powered by batteries. It featured a slot in which circuit boards containing different games could be inserted with translucent colored sheets to place over the screen in order to add atmosphere to the games.
Magnavox presents Odyssey, the electronic game of the future. Odyssey easily attaches to any brand TV, black and white or color, to create a closed-circuit electronic playground. Odyssey gives you all the exciting action of hockey and 11 other challenging play and learning games for the entire family. Odyssey, a new dimension for your television, now at your Magnavox dealer. He's listed in the yellow pages.
In 2008, members of the 711th Human Performance Wing's Warfighter Readiness Research Division blended commercial gaming technology with military-specific databases that demonstrated quicker and less expensive ways to develop the next generation of tools for interactive military training. In 6 months, researchers integrated high-fidelity, real-world aircraft models with existing commercial off-the-shelf gaming software to create a realistic flight simulation program with rich graphics. In the words of Lieutenant Cam, you have this billion-dollar gaming industry, and they're advancing technology constantly, pushing forward the video cards, the physics cards, and the processors. So our challenge is, how can we leverage their efforts? Those efforts became reality with the ever-so-popular Call of Duty franchise. According to Nina Huntsman, a professor of communication and journalism at Suffolk University, as well as a computer game specialist, state that the military has been using video game technology for decades, and every branch of the U.S. Armed Forces, as well as police departments, are using retooled video games to train their personnel. Call of Duty would be the ideal game for such training. This video game gives basic training and fight simulations in duplicated real-life settings. Video games are also used for teaching historical moments as well as restoring American pride. For example, the video game Assassin's Creed 3 takes place in the British colonies during the American Revolution, in Boston and in New York. With the time spanning from 1753 to 1783, we trace the full life of Connor, a half-Mohawk, half-British boy born in the Mohawk Valley. As the revolution heats up, Connor's community is threatened, and so he sets out to protect it. To help fight for his people, Connor joins the assassins and begins a quest to protect the free will of people everywhere.
The time is now near at hand which must determine whether Americans are to be free men or slaves. Our cruel and unrelenting enemy leaves us only the choice of brave resistance or the most abject submission. We have, therefore, to resolve to conquer or die.
For assistance in recruiting soldiers, the military looks again to Hollywood. The movie capital of the world has produced human adaptations of video games to bring home the idea of making the video game experience real, with the hopes of exuding attributes like honor, integrity, and courage. These concepts were introduced with movies like Resident Evil and Tomb Raider, which were video games first. Since the release of the original Tomb Raider video game in 1996, the series developed into a lucrative franchise, and Lara Croft, the female character, went on to become a major icon of the virtual gaming industry. In 2006, Lara Croft was inducted into the Walk of Games, and the Guinness Book of World Records has recognized her as the most successful human virtual game heroine. Since then, 2 movies have been produced, starring American actress Angelina Jolie as Lara Croft, the first of which is still the highest-grossing film adaptation of the video game ever released in the U.S. and worldwide. Hollywood has been military's #1 help in recruiting soldiers. According to an article by Richard D. Parker, the Navy saw an increase of 16,000 in the year following the release of Top Gun. Stay tuned to see the Army's plan to overhaul training games and other virtual training exercises, which include the ability to move across computer platforms and live virtual constructive environments, which enables units in different locations to interact as though they were physically in the same place.